Welcome, everyone, to the Unintelligent Movie Reviews, where we don't take ourselves too seriously, and neither should you. Hi, I'm Misunderstood.
And I'm Kondrylian. Today we are covering the 2020 film Free Guy, which follows the non-player character Guy in the online role-playing game Free City in his journey of self-awareness and self-awakening and eventual ability to save his world from deletion.
This movie was like really interesting. We first brought it up. Let's watch Free Guy. I wasn't sure I wanted to, but I have to say I was pleasantly surprised.
I actually really regret not seeing it in Fence Cinema. Um, I saw the trailers for it and was kind of like, oh, that looks pretty cool, but it came out in the middle of 2020 and we kind of just had other things on our minds and just didn't think about seeing it. I don't think we saw it until 2021.
Right. Yep. And watched it. I've watched many times.
I think we watched it 5 times before we even started doing this review.
Probably have. So, how many cameos can you find in this video? Let us know in the comments.
So this movie is a little bit interesting in the fact that it only has 4 main characters, and like main characters, really it only has one. It's Guy, but main characters in the sense that there's one lead and then 3 supports, and one of them is the villain. You have Guy, played by Ryan Reynolds, who, like I said, he's the NPC that he's just a background person. Because he meets Millie, played by Jodie Comer, he becomes awakened. And the reason he becomes awakened is Millie's partner, Keys, played by Joe Keery, programmed a character which became Guy, but a character to kind of obsess over meeting the right woman and never could because the right woman was in the real world, which happened to be the person he was sitting next to. Keys sitting next to, anyways. And then, of course, then the 4th main character is Antoine, the CEO of Tsunami Studios, played by Taika Waititi. He's a little over the top, but I've seen so many people like him in positions of authority that it was just perfect to me, even though I cannot stand him.
He was an over the top type of character. I agree. It the movie was extremely interesting. You start off not really in knowing what was going to happen. It reminded me of a couple different movies. I feel like it had different aspects of, would be like Westworld or Ready Player One, also Groundhog Day and Truman. I feel like there was different aspects in the movie that reminded me of that, which I found really, really cool. What do you think about that?
I actually really like. There's a scene when Keys is looking at the code for each of the NPCs in the game, and he comes across guys, and you actually see like the ridiculous number of steps that the coding is taken on, and we actually saw that in Westworld, the TV show Westworld,
Right.
HBO, yeah. But like that scene right there where he's going through, and then he goes and tells Millie that hey, their code actually worked. Is a lot of fun. Plus, I'm going to ask you a question here in a bit. Last time you had a surprise question. This time it's my
turn. Okay. So the movie, I really have grown to admire Ryan Reynolds. Yes, he plays the character that's similar to a lot of characters he's played in different movies, but he's so endearing, so endearing. So I love his character. I love his character. Um, I also really liked the character Millie, which was played by, what was her name?
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer. Yeah. I loved her character because she was so realistic. And it took me, I've watched this movie numerous times, like I've mentioned. It took me until maybe the 5th, 6th time I've watched this movie to realize she played 2 characters, that she was actually the girl in the video game. And so that's how good of an actor she was, because I didn't realize it. And she did such a good job, and also had her accent and things like that.
Her accent work is spot on.
Spot on. Spot on.
I already liked him before, but this movie made me like Key's way more. Like I liked him in Stranger Things, but his like that perfect hair he has going on. They even make fun of it in the movie, the
They do.
Gloria shampoo haired commercial hair.
They do. They right. So in this movie, it starts off and it reminded me once again like the Truman or Groundhog because he would go through the same things every day. Had the same blue shirt, he'd get up and eat the same cereal and look at his little fish and then go to work at the bank. And so it was the same thing, but then all of a sudden he has this I would say awakening where when he sees the girl walking and the music in this movie I felt was spot on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Spot on.
This movie has two different types of soundtracks. It has the ambient score, which is really really good. Like it, you almost don't notice it in a lot of scenes because it just fits into like the video game world so well, or to the city world so well. And then it has a lot of most of them are kind of on the hip hopish side, but like a lot of pop songs. So like the motion picture soundtrack, the every time I hear fantasy now, I want to watch Free Guy. And then after we watch Free Guy, I have fantasy stuck in my head for like a week. But there's a song that starts when Antoine first walks in, like the first time we're actually introduced to Antoine. We've heard about him in the movie before, but like the song starts playing, and I want to know what that song is, just because it's really cool sounding when it walks in. I'm sure I'm gonna hate the actual song, but the intro is so good, and it makes me like it really gets you into the mindset of what is about to happen.
So one of the things that's really amazing in my opinion of the game is when guy starts realizing he wants to do different things. He doesn't want the same coffee. He doesn't want to do the same old, same old. He just was starting to get these different, ideas in his head. He goes back to work, and instead of doing his normal thing where they get held up, he decides to go talk to the guy. And in the process of doing this, he ends up fighting, over the gun and gets, beat up, this, that, and the other, and accidentally shoots the guy same time grabbing his glasses. Well, the glasses are a big thing in this movie because the players are the ones that have the glasses. So the non-player characters don't have glasses. In fact, there's one point where his friend Buddy that he works with, says, "Oh, well, we don't talk to the people with glasses." Like the girl had glasses when she walked by and was singing, so he's like, "What are you doing? We don't talk to them."
We don't talk to the
So,
sunglasses people.
right. So, what did you think about what happened next? Because I thought it was this is a start of the beginning of a really cool aspect of the movie.
The start of the adventure. He puts the glasses on when he gets outside and sees the heads up display. Like you actually see how much money he has, which we actually saw earlier in the movie. You can in the top right hand corner, you can see the amount of money that it displayed in the ATM. You see the bank heist mission that is where he's always participated in, just as a victim. There's teleporters that allow for like turret defenses that you actually get to see go off, and you can see the level of a character as it runs by. The effects are great, and his reaction to things we know that Ryan Reynolds really can't see, like he's having to pretend that he's seeing stuff. He's having to pretend he's interacting with holograms on the ground, and his ability to do that is fantastic. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly. Like when he sees these things floating and he goes to touch them, like, what's that? And he hits the little red box that is the health, like in a video game, because it's a video game. And
mm-hmm.
he hits the box and it heals him. The way he did that, where he was getting healed, was really cool. And to me, that was kind of the beginning of the the coolness of this movie, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, that was they did a great job on all the effects. You could see,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, in the background when he's say communicating with his friend Buddy walking and talking, you could literally see characters in the background fighting, um, are running into walls like you would in a video game where, they get stuck and they're running into walls. They did a really good job on the effects, in my opinion.
And one guy even does the wall hack, like he's jumping at the wall intentionally, and then like
Exactly. So that was, I mean, this is a really good movie. So I have a question for y'all. So what is he drinking and what is the relevance of it in the movie? Another question. How many pairs of glasses does he go through? Let us know in the comments if you know the answer to these questions. I would like to ask you, um, what would be your favorite scene of the movie? What would be your favorite scene?
his battle with Dude.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. So dude is
like
like at the end of the movie, this big character, huge, like a Hulk size, and has the same face as Ryan Reynolds. So, so it wasn't, that was interesting. That was interesting. But I would have to say my favorite scene was the sad scene. And I
oh,
thought that he did such a good job that I cried every time I watched it. But when
mhm,
she had to tell him that he wasn't alive and that he was actually in a video game,
yeah,
and that if he did, they didn't accomplish this goal of saving this world, it would be non-existent, and so would he. And him finding that out and saying to her, that he was just like a nothing, I'm not even a main, not even a main character or something like that. The way he said it, oh my gosh, this just broke my heart. So I just think he's such a good character. He's such a good actor.
yeah, he is.
He's such a good actor.
He really is.
Pick out a scene that you would say was your least favorite.
Hmm, that's a pretty good question. Yes, actually, it's the after guy defeats Dude, and he starts running down, the bridge to reveal the build of life itself.
Mhm.
Um, when he's running down there, Antoine decides he's going to destroy the servers, and so he takes a fire axe and starts smashing the servers
Right,
with the fire axe.
right.
Um, Two things. First, the servers don't stick out far enough for you to be able to smash them like that and not, hit the rest of the rack. Um, and so there's that. Also, smashing the front will actually cause the servers to break because usually the hard drives are stored on the front in a server facility. Um, but I don't know if the average movie producer or movie director is or actor that isn't an action star would actually have the physical force to be able to break the hard drives. But and if he did, he would probably get electrocuted doing it. And then, but the second phase of that is when is the effect of the city falling apart
Correct.
instead. Like that's
Yeah.
not how that happens.
It's
Um,
a movie. That's
I
a
know,
movie
but that's
effects,
the
and you're being too literal.
well, you asked what my least favorite scene is, and my least
Okay.
favorite scene is literally because that's not how that works.
Okay. All right. So I would have to say, my least favorite scene. I honestly, I don't know. I don't think I have a least favorite scene, but I do have a least favorite character. Do you?
you know, I like them all. I actually like them all.
Okay. I would have to say my least favorite character is Antoine. He annoys me. He played the character good, and I think that's how a person in his, I don't know, him as in that position of power, would probably behave. But he was annoying to me, and it drove me nuts. But I mean, it had to be in the movie, but he kind of annoys me. But I know a lot of people like him, so please don't be offended about that because he's just not my taste. So he was annoying to me. But in regards to the worst, character or whatever, I don't think there, or scene. I didn't have one. I thought the movie was so good. Um, So, do you think this movie is good enough for children to watch? Families, children.
It's a good family movie. I think a PG-13 rating is pretty solid for it. It's not super inappropriate. It's not actually all that inappropriate for younger children younger than that, but that's up to the parents. So PG-13 rating is perfect for it.
I do agree with you. One thing I did forget to mention, I found was really cool on the aspects because I know Ryan Reynolds is a huge part of this movie, and so they had a lot of um, YouTube streamers and Twitch people in the movie. And I thought that was really cool because they incorporated a lot of people from that type of world that would be playing video games, that talk about video
Mhm.
games, that do the streaming. I thought that was really cool. And then they had a lot of cameos. So the question we asked earlier, do you know how many cameos are in this movie? Yeah, please once again go ahead and put it in the comments and we'll see if you're correct.
So at the beginning, I said I had a question for you this time.
Okay.
My question for you is when, if at all, is Keyes' name actually mentioned? Because Keyes is just his nickname.
His real name, like in the movie?
Yeah, the character of Keyes. When is his name actually mentioned?
I believe his name was mentioned by the other character. I can't remember his name, but he wore the bunny outfit,
Rabbit. It's a
rabbit,
rabbit.
rabbit, which he got mad about. Yes, correct. The rabbit outfit. And I believe he said his name at work.
Nah, he's just called Keyes. His
Oh,
name, so Millie's name is actually mentioned, like her name, full name, Millie Rusk,
okay.
and then a couple of characters refer to as Molotov Girl. But Keyes, his name is never actually spoken.
Oh, it
The
wasn't?
only It's not actually spoken. It's just his nickname. Like his nickname is mentioned the entire movie. The
Oh,
only time his name shows up is during the interview when it is explaining like Keyes and Millie being partners and them selling Life Itself to Tsunami.
oh,
And it just shows
oh.
up on the screen.
Well, you got me on that one. That was a good question. That was a good question. Let us know if you knew the answer to that question. Okay, so I think it's time for us to go ahead and give our ratings, what we think of the movie. I'm going to let you go first.
All right, fine. I'll go first. I'm gonna give this one an A plus.
Wow,
Straight up.
you're giving out those A's pretty good here.
I mean, so far we've only reviewed movies that I enjoy, so
That is true. That is true.
but an A plus. It's a great, like, what would you classify the movie even as? Like, it's kind of a comedy, it's kind of a love story, it's kind of a sci-fi movie, it's kind of a
Correct.
video game movie.
Yep.
Except it's not a video game movie because it's not made off of it's a completely independent production. It's not based off of an individual IP, which Ryan Reynolds actually says in the promotional material. What about you? What's your rating?
I'm not copying, I promise, but I'm actually going to give an A plus as well because for some reason, and I don't know what it is, Ryan Reynolds has grown on me. And I've watched this movie many times and I'm going to continue to watch it again. I just feel like it was fun. Makes you, it gives you a lot of emotions. It made me happy. It made me cry. It was cool because I'm not a huge video game person, but I do play video games as well. And so seeing that aspect of it was really cool. And then it had two different worlds at the same time, which it did a wonderful job.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I really, and also I forgot to bring up, and is that, in the cameo, they also did cameos with certain objects. They had the Captain America's um what do you call that?
Shield.
His shield. He had this Star Wars lightsaber. So that was really cool too. The different aspects of different movies, parts of movies. So A plus here all the way. A plus. I do believe it is a movie for the family, and I do believe children can watch this one as well.
Yeah, it's pretty clean. There's the violence is PG at best, as far as like It's like, yeah, there's, some guy gets a grenade thrown at him and, he blows up, but there's no blood. It's a video game.
Right, right. Well, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it, and we really would love if you give us some comments and suggestions in the bottom. And also, please subscribe and share with your friends because we're new and we're trying to get out there. We're also trying to do better each time. So please critique us if you want to. Give us questions, suggestions, comments. Thank you again, and we'll see you later. Bye.